Hi, I'm Darren Waterboy of Mr. Twister Balloons, and today I'll be showing you how to make my character police dog. Loves to chase around and he's really popular at the minute, so let's begin. Okay, so for this project we'll be requiring quite a few balloons. Okay, a 260 blush, 2 mocha brown, a black, a white, 2 dark blue, and I'm using a 350 yellow. Just a puff of air helps make the band across the helmet. If you haven't got one, don't panic, you really don't need one. So let's begin with our blush. Okay, so inflate your blush, leaving, I don't know, about 6-7 fingers, and we'll start with a 2-finger bubble, make into a pinch twist, followed by a 3-finger flower petal, second one, a third one, and I'm making a slightly small 2-finger flower petal which acts as the mouth. We'll show you in a minute how it all sits. So you should be left with 3-finger flower petal, 3-finger flower petal, sideways on. This one acts as the nose, and the smaller one sits underneath, and it's going to be the mouth. The pinch twist sits in the centre, and then the balloon faces upwards. It should all sit like that. Okay. Once you've got that, we come up, measure from the pinch twist, 4 fingers, and twist, and then back down, same distance, 4 fingers, and wrap into the pinch twist at the back. The rest of the balloon we don't need, so we can break that off. Okay, tie that off, and just wrap it into the balloon. Okay. So what we should have is this. Okay, our flower petals range like we discussed, and the balloon goes up 4 fingers, comes back down 4 fingers, and ties into this pinch twist at the back. And then we just break the balloon off and wrap it in. If at any second I'm going out of the screen, it's because I've got a weed cutter, and that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting the balloon. Okay, so once we've got that, keep hold of that, and we now require a mocha brown. Okay, inflate roughly the same as the blush, 6-7 finger tail. Okay, the nozzle of the balloon, I'm just going to wrap that into one of these flower petals that make up the side of the mouth. Okay. Once I've done that, I'm going to measure up the mocha brown about roughly the same distance as the blush, so about 4 fingers. Okay, and at the top, do a 1-finger pinch twist. Then I'm going to come up the balloon another 4 fingers, back down, and twist into that pinch twist. So up the balloon, 4 fingers, back down, tight in the pinch twist, and then I'm going to measure a 2-finger spacer bubble. Okay, and then feed this balloon through the blush balloon. So the blush balloon, it came up 4 fingers and went back down. That's where I've fed the mocha through, and then I just pull it up so it locks in place. And then I'm going to come across 2 fingers, a 1-finger pinch twist, again 4 fingers, down 4 fingers, into the pinch twist, and then back down 4 fingers, and just measure it at the back so you can see if it's identical with the one on the other side. So Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. And then just wrap into that pinch twist at the very back, the blush one. So, I'll talk you through that. We came up the same height as the blush in the middle. We had a 1 finger pinch twist, we came up 4, down 4 fingers, a 2 finger spacer bubble. We fed it through the blush, okay, and then we did another 2 finger spacer bubble. We pushed it up, just locked in that place. 1 finger pinch twist, up 4, down 4, and then we came back down to the pinch twist at the back, the same height as the one on the other side, because once it looks symmetrical on both sides, okay, and then the mocha brown should feed downwards underneath that pinch twist, which will eventually make the neck, but we'll come to that later. So that's what we should have. Just arrange the face so it kind of is sitting how we want it to sit. Okay. So that's what we should have. Once we've got to that stage, then we require our dark blue. Okay, just stick that under your arm or stick it somewhere. Okay, we're inflating our dark blue. We don't need all of the dark blue, so we're inflating it to leaving about 7 or 8 fingers tail. Okay. So the nozzle then, we're going to wrap into one of these pinch twists, one of these 1 finger pinch twists, which are at the base of these 2 ears. Wrap that in. And we're going to bring it across the top of the head and lock it in to the other pinch twist. Once we've done that, we're going to come around the back of the head and lock it in to the other side. So, okay, it goes across and then round the back of the head. And once we've done that, we're going over the top and then locking it in to the pinch twist on the other side. And then one last go, bringing it back around and locking it in the other side. So we'll talk you through that in a second. Break the balloon off, we no longer need that. So we'll tie that off and we'll get rid of that into the balloon. Okay. So what we did is we initially tied the nozzle into one of these pinch twists, we brought it across, tied it into the other side, we brought it around the back, wrapped it into that side, then we came across the top, we wrapped it into that side, then one last one was round the back and locked it into that side, okay? So that's what we should be faced with. So just arrange that. Okay, we need our black 260 and inflate. Now we only need less than half the balloon. It's just the visor that goes around the front. So tie that off. Wrap that into one of these pinch twists at the base of one of the ears, doesn't matter which one, okay, and we wrap that, we want that to go underneath the blue hat, and we're going to wrap it into the pinch twist on the other side. And just break off, save that, we'll use that for the nose. And just tie that off and get rid of it in the balloon somewhere. So that's what we should have. Okay. Now this balloon here is slightly bigger than the blue ones that we tied into the pinch twist and brought across. It's just so it looks like it's wrapped around a bit bigger. Okay. If I'm making any sense. Top tip, these pinch twists at the side, I turn them sideways on and it forces the ears straight up. Okay, stops them from coming sideways on. Aesthetically it looks better. So once we've got that, okay, we need the yellow pinstripe across the top. Again, if you had a 160 it would work just as well. I use a 350. Just put a puff of air into it just to fill the balloon, and then wrap it into one of these pinch twists at the side, and just bring it in between the black and the blue balloon, and then wrap it into the other side, and break off. Okay, we should be left with something like that. Okay. Right, now we need to put the eyes in place. For this, I use a 260 white. A scrap of white would be just as good. Okay. Tie knot. I come up about 4 fingers and then back down. Same distance, 4 fingers. Grab the nozzle, wrap it round, feed it through so it holds it in place. You get rid of the rest of the balloon, and we'll tie them 2 ends together just so it keeps it holding nice and firm. Break off the excess. So what else we should have? Okay, basically come up 4 fingers, down 4 fingers and tie them together. Now this we are going to feed underneath this blush balloon in the centre, so there'll be a section of white there and a section of white there. So basically that's what we're going to do with this. So it's a bit fiddly. But once you've got it, okay, that's what it should look like. Bring these, push them slightly backwards, and bring these 2 side ones slightly round, so it gives the it doesn't make the eyes look too big, you know? So that's where we are with that. Okay, all we require now is our nose and our eyes. Okay, so we'll get that done. Scrap of black that we had, a puff of hair. We'll transfer that to the bottom. We'll tie that off. Okay, break that off. Okay, like that. We've got a wee bit of balloon left, so when we push that through the nose, and we'll just wrap it in to the pinch twist or the side of the mouth or wherever you can get it, just to secure it in place, and that should look like that. Okay, we have our 260 dark blue. Okay, inflate, leaving, I know, probably about 6-7 finger tail. Okay, tie it up. You want to start with a 2-finger bubble, which we will make into a pinch twist, followed by another 2-finger bubble, which we will also make into a pinch twist. So we want to start with 2 pinch twists at the top, like that. Okay. Now the way I measure this is I put my hand all the way to the pinch twist, and I extend my thumb. And where my thumb finishes is where I want to twist the balloon. So if you've got really massive hands, then it's roughly, a good guide, it's going to be about 8-9 fingers. That's how long we want this section here. At the end then, we're going to put a 2-finger bubble. We're going to pinch twist that. Okay. Coming back up the balloon, it's not going to be as long as this, it's probably going to be about 5 fingers. So measure 5 fingers and then bend that, and this twist here is going to go into this twist point where they pinch this out. So once we've done that, you'll see that it's bent the larger balloon like that. That's what we want. And then from the back up the balloon to this pinch twist at the bottom, the same as the smaller one, which was about 5 fingers. And twist that in. We no longer require this section of the balloon, so we'll break that off. And I'm going to tie that off. Just get rid of the excess. So that's what we've got. Okay, so we've got two pinch twists, the balloon that I measured with my hand and my thumb, pinch twist at the bottom, we came up 5 fingers and back down 5 fingers, tied off, and then got rid of the rest. Okay, so that's going to be our body. Hold that and get your second 260 mocha brown. Okay, inflate, again leaving a good 7 fingers. Tie that off. The nozzle, we're going to tie into these 2 pinch twists at the top. Wrap that in nice and tight, and we're going to come down the balloon about 5 fingers, 5 or 6 fingers. Okay, it really doesn't matter. Okay, it's not the same length as the longer one. It's probably going to be the same length as the ones at the back, so about 5 fingers. Twist. Got a 2-finger pinch twist at the base of that, followed by a small 2-finger loop, maybe a wee bit smaller. These are going to be the feet, so we don't want them too big. A 2-finger spacer bubble, followed by another 2-finger pinch twist. Repeat the same on this side as we did this side, so small flower petal. And then what a good index is to measure this balloon with this one. So if you push them together, we want the same distance coming down here as we did on this one. So it's about 5 fingers. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So once you've got that, twist it and rotate it into these 2 pinch twists here. Once it's locked in place, okay, squeeze some of the air out of there, okay, all the way down to the pinch twist at the bottom, and then just hide that so you can't see it. And this is going to be the tail. Now that's too big for a dog's tail, so I'm going to break off this end and then probably have it about that big. So I broke off the end, and I'm going to reduce the tail to what I think is more fitting with this balloon. Okay, and I'm going to break off the excess. So that's my tail. Now the legs, we want to adjust. So on this balloon that's curved, the legs are going either side of that. Okay, like that. So the big curved balloon sits in between these 2 legs. That's got a bit of chest that's puffed out. There's 2 pinch twists at the top, one goes at the back, one goes at the front. Okay, so that's how the front legs want to sit. Okay, the tail then just sits at the back. This pinch twist at the back, okay, it sits better that way. The tail sits better with the pinch twist that way. But when we add the legs, I want to put it sideways down, because then it supports the legs better. Okay, so we require our 3rd mocha brown, 260. I think I said 2 at the start of the video, but we require 3. So apologies on my behalf. Okay, inflate, leaving about 6 fingers, 7 fingers. The nozzle then, at the nozzle end, we want to put a 2-finger pinch twist, followed by a small 2-finger flower petal, maybe even smaller, but no more than 2. Okay, then we want to come up the balloon about 6 fingers and make a 6-finger flower petal. Okay, that's going to be the leg. Okay, and we want a 2-finger spacer bubble, and then we make a twist. That twist, we are going to wrap into this pinch twist where the tail is. So as you can see there, that's the pinch twist where the tail's coming out of. We're going to wrap that twist point there into that pinch twist. And we want it projecting out of the other side of the pinch twist. So we make another 2-finger spacer bubble, followed by a pinch twist, followed by a small 2-finger flower petal, And this, hopefully, yeah, is roughly the same size as this one. So a 6-finger flower petal. It just worked out okay. So, the way we'll arrange this is like so. The flower petal, okay, facing forward, it's the foot, the pinch twist at the back, and these larger flower petals are going to make up the legs. It's as if it's a dog sitting down. Okay, so that's, we can see that, okay, that's how we want that position. Okay, so just play about with that until it looks aesthetically pleasing, and then what you'll find is this dog sits independently on a table. It's quite sturdy and it sits well, it doesn't fall over. So that's basically the body. All we need to do now is wrap our neck from the head into these 2 pinch twists. So grab our head, and if you can remember, the mocha brown came from this pinch twist at the back and it's facing downwards. We want to twist it just slightly longer than the mouth projects. Okay, and we're going to put that twist into these 2 pinch twists at the top. I'll wrap it in there nice and tight. Get rid of this brown. We no longer require that. And tie it up. Get rid of the excess. Okay. So that's what we have there. Okay. So just position the head and the body. So it all looks as it should do. And that should be your little police dog. All that's required now is 2 eyes to be drawn onto these 2 sections here. You can, like I did in the previous model, put a scrap of black and make 2 pinch twists. But you really don't need to. If it's time consuming, then just draw the eyes on. Okay. Again, I've wrapped that into these 2 pinch twists on the neck. But if you've a 160 black, I know this character wears a collar, it's easy enough just to wrap that round and tie it off, and you've got a wee collar there. It would probably support the head better. I find you don't really need it. It looks just as well like that, okay? Okay, I'm Darren Motorboy, Mr. Twisted Balloons. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, leave comments below. Thank you.